All right, hey everybody. Just to break up some of the longer form content, I just wanted to bring a shorter piece of content. It came up in the Discord today, so I wanted to just discuss it lightly. There is a little bit of a conundrum in our mana base, and it revolves around the worst land that's in the mana base. So I want all of you to just take a second and maybe comment below if you care, but tell me what you think the worst land is in this mana base. You can pause the video, think about it. I'll give it 3 seconds. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Okay. The worst land in the mana base is Scalding Tarn, and it's not particularly close. I would bet a lot of people say Mountain just because we don't really have a red thing in our main deck other than Prismatic Ending. Maybe some people would say Second Plains, but yeah, beyond that, I think the most common answer is Basic Mountain. So let's shift around to why Scalding Tarn is the worst land in the deck. Let's just run some back of the napkin statistics. The deck is 60 cards. We have 20 lands. 1 and 3 is a land, right? Our opening hand is 7 cards, so your opening hand is going to contain, roughly speaking, 2 lands. Okay, let's peel that down a step further. How many basic islands do we run? 6. So 1 in 10, right? 1 in 10 cards in the deck are basic island. Your opening hand is 7 cards. So decent odds that of those 2 lands you just drew in your hypothetical average opening hand, one of them's an island. Okay, so this is where Scalding Tarn becomes a problem. If one of the lands on average is likely to be island, then island Scalding Tarn is not a very good combination to start, because on turn 2, the mana base that this deck wants under it most of the time is Island Plains. Scalding Tarn does not do that. Okay? And that's really at the root of the problem here. Because Scalding Tarn forces you to get Tundra, and then if your Tundra gets wastelanded out from under you, that's not good. And generally, it's very not good because in the situations early where you're fetching Tundra with Scalding Tarn, it's because you don't have a better option. Like, you would get Island Plains every time if you could, but the fact that you had to get Tundra off your Scalding Tarn, it says that you're probably in distress, especially with regards to colors. Okay, so that's the fail case for Scalding Tarn, right? So what's the alternative? Arid Mesa. So, why would we want Arid Mesa? Arid Mesa solves that 2 land of island plus Scalding Tarn problem. Instead of Scalding Tarn, you get handed an Arid Mesa, and now I have Island Plains. Everything's wonderful, right? But not so fast, because there are other fail cases for that. Why is Arid Mesa bad? Well, what happens if you get a 1-land hand and a Ponder? Suddenly I wish that Arid Mesa was Scalding Tarn, because I could get basic island and, Ponder and be on my way. But now I've got to get Tundra, right? Or perhaps somewhat later in the game, you're like, geez, I've already fetched out both my basic plains. I'd like to get another island. Arid Mesa, you can't. The only thing you can do is get a mountain, which in a lot of senses is almost just like a colorless source, like a wasteland. You don't have anything that needs red pips. So in the late game, when you've already fetched out both your planes, Arid Mesa's value just falls off a cliff, completely. So they're just good at different times. Arid Mesa, I find, is much better on average than Scalding Tarn. But Scalding Tarn has problems early, specifically with those 2-land hands of island, specifically with hands involving island and Scalding Tarn. So the more I've thought about it, I don't think there's a right answer here. Both are going to have major weaknesses, and whether it's Arid Mesa or it's Scalding Tarn, that 9th fetch right there is going to be the worst land in your deck, bar none. Because even though Mountain is situational, boy, you will be kissing the ground when you are playing, a Delver deck, firing off red blasts with impunity off it. But this thing, whether you play Arid Mesa or whether you play Scalding Tarn, there are going to be times where you stare at it and curse the day. But yeah, that's it. It was just a brief little discussion about, which one's better. I think it just kind of comes down to personal choice and understanding what you're getting into. I find Scalding Tarn more frustrating than Arid Mesa in a lot of ways, so I just play Arid Mesa. But there is some flex in the deck in that slot, at least. Anyway, that's it. Just a little short form piece of content I thought people might enjoy. Have a good one, everybody.